Hey everyone, it's Jim
And Charles
from Valves and More, an online vintage tube store. And today in Tube Lab number 251, we're going to take another look at the 6SN7 revisited.
Well, more specifically, some Sylvania 6SL7s.
But before we get into what promises to be a fun episode about one of the most loved preamp tubes ever made, we have to discuss the U.S. tariff situation. Effective today, August 29th, 2025, the $800 exemption has been removed, and all goods entering the U.S. from Canada will need to have a 35% tariff tax applied. That has to be prepaid. Obviously, we can't absorb this, so we will need to charge our U.S. customers 35% on their orders. Now, exemptions include goods made in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Unfortunately, not a lot of tubes were made in Mexico, but we do stock a lot of tubes made in the U.S. and Canada, and those
should technically be exempt.
Yeah. Now, we are currently working on updating the stores, and until then, our U.S. customers will not be able to check out. You'll be able to go into the store and browse, and
you can add things to your cart. You just can't check out. We've removed the shipping options for now because we're working with our shipper to figure out this whole process, because apparently nobody really knows what's going on right now.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of postal services around the world have simply stopped shipping to the U.S. So now, and including a large carrier, DHL. But anyways, now, this is important. This does not affect anyone other than customers shipping to a U.S. address. So obviously, if you are in the United States and you've got a friend, you live close to the Canadian border, or the Mexican border for that matter, and you've got a friend, or you have a relay post office box, you can just ship there, and then you can probably quite easily just cross the border and pick up your parcel. Again, you'll have to follow your own domestic...
whatever the rules are that apply there, and at the time they do apply.
Yeah, well, and one of the big problems for us, of course, is that this is a large change to the store, and this is essentially changing almost by the hour. So it's going to be difficult. But anyways, bear with us, and hopefully U.S. customers will be able to start purchasing in the next day or two. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program. But first, caution everyone, electronics and tube amplifiers can have very high voltages present, which can be lethal. Exercise extreme caution when working around them. Always consult a professional technician when in doubt. Now, without a doubt, the most popular preamp tube in history was and is the medium mu just stands for gain, twin triode 6SN7, and to a lesser extent its higher filament voltage version, the 12SN7. There are a lot of reasons for this. Originally, it was simply a very useful, flexible, and economical tube that could handle voltage gain and other requirements for many different applications. Today, 90 years after it was first introduced, it's still going strong. And without a doubt, that's because of how it sounds. As a type, it has a warm, rich mid-range that's got a nice touch of second harmonic distortion, which many music lovers have found to be to their liking. Sylvania made some of the best 6/12SN7s ever. Now, I say 6 and 12SN7 together because they're essentially the same tube. The only difference is the filament voltage. And on the assembly line, all they have to do is install a different filament. That's it.
Well, other than labeling it differently.
Yeah, well,
that doesn't matter for sound.
Well, the funny thing is, every once in a while we come across a 12SN7 that's in fact the 6SN7, and a 6SN7 that's in fact the 12SN7.
Yeah, they're really rare though.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. And we'll find it on the tester because a 6SN7 will be labeled 2, will be testing so low we think, wait a minute, this looks like a new tube, and then we'll switch the filament over to 12.
And then we'll actually have to measure the filament's resistance too, just to make sure.
Yeah, but often we can catch it that way. Now, the 6SN7 and the 12SN7 have a really good balance of mid-range warmth, base presentation, and detail. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about the first and much lower spec GTs, also known as bad boys, or the second generation and modern spec GTAs, or the mil-spec GTW, or the last generation GTBs. They all have that warm, rich mid-range, what I like to call the Sylvania house sound. Okay, now, Charles, you've got a plan as to how we're going to actually listen to these tubes.
Yeah, actually. So we were lucky enough, we mentioned it last week, but we had a nice order come in, and a large variety of 6SN7s came in with it, including a fair number of Sylvanias. So we actually have decent stock across most of the range right now. And we also mentioned that we'd like to do sort of a comparison listening test. I think I described it last week as a bit of a tournament, but we haven't really had time to set that up properly yet. But what we'd like to do is sort of a play-along demonstration of critical listening using your ears in a scientific way. So we've pulled a nice selection of tubes here, starting over here on my right, your left, is a GTA straight plate equivalent. This is going to be labeled as a WGT, if you can see that on camera. And this is one of the earlier sort of middle production tubes here. It's a military spec tube, but it's basically the same internals as a GTA straight plate in a short bottle.
And what's the big giveaway that it's probably a military tube?
Well, brown base obviously right here, but they were nice enough to also label it Joint Army Navy, JAN.
What if we didn't have any labels, Charles, and we were on a black base?
You see that post right there and these whiskers that are up here? Yeah. That means it was designed for high vibration situations. Think military aircraft, bouncing around in a Jeep, that kind of thing. So that's the earlier one that we have to listen to. Middle of the road is a GTA angle plate. So this is a later production. We have the sort of the strong chrome dome on it here. We can see we have GTA on the label.
Yeah, and the very early types literally had an entire glass of gettering, so the chrome almost covered.
Would flash all the way down.
Almost covered the whole glass. Yeah.
So these were basically the last GTAs that were made before they switched up to GTB production.
And what's this weird thing you've got?
Well, this is probably one of the last versions of the GTB ever produced by Sylvania. This is the GTB coin base. So these would have been made, I believe, in the mid-70s. And you'll see them labeled Phillips, you'll see them labeled Sylvania. You actually find a bunch of them labeled RCA, because I guess RCA was probably buying them from them too at that point. And they switched over to these much smaller coin bases on them. But otherwise, they have the same internal construction as the other GTBs. And so this is a good representation of sort of the last version that Sylvania ever made out there. So we're going to go listen to a wonderful track by Ava Cassidy. We're going to cut out probably maybe the first minute of it, and we're going to listen to the same one for each one of these tubes. But I'm not going to tell you which one you're listening to at which time. I'm just going to label them Tube 1, Tube 2, and Tube 3. And we'd like you to put some listening notes as to how you like it down in the comments. And before anybody says it, we know YouTube audio, not the best. We're also going to put some some links to high resolution downloads that have not been mucked with or anything at all. And you can listen to it through your own system, preferably a very clean system.
Yeah, now the capture is done directly off of Charles's custom testing preamp. So it's a very simple circuit.
It's about as simple as you can get. It's an unbypassed gain stage into a standard 6N6P cathode follower.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get the music rolling, and we'll see you back in a minute.
There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to it diesels a humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord, yeah. Passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and board them. There's room for all of the love and lost to you. Yeah. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to it diesels a humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord, yeah. Passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and board them. There's room for all of the love and lost to you. Yeah. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to it diesels a humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord, yeah. Passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and board them. There's room for all of the love and lost to you. Yeah.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that test track. That was Eva Cassidy off of the really beautifully recorded live at Blues Alley, and the song was "People Get Ready." It's a very traditional song in the U.S. Folk song book, I would say, folk gospel, I guess. And the thing about Eva Cassidy is that she burned so brightly and almost didn't receive any recognition in her lifetime. She died at 33, believe it or not, in 1996, and posthumously, her music found more and more audience. And she actually had, I think, 3 number 1 albums after her death, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, the reason why I chose that particular track, besides attempting to pay homage to a great artist who died way too soon, is that she has a very clean, clear voice. Whoever was doing that capture in, what was probably just a pretty small club space, did a brilliant job with the live capture. And that track actually on the album specifically says that the audience noise or audience capture of the room was removed. And I think that was just simply so that you could hear more of the beautiful music.
Yeah, they did an absolutely wonderful job of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's very simple. It's got a good female voice. It's well recorded. It's got excellent capture of details like cymbals and guitar. So it's just really a perfect test track. I spent about a half an hour looking through a small part of our huge library to see if I could find something different. And I realized that really we don't necessarily want something far out. I listen to a lot of different music, so I could have picked something really weird and wonderful. But I thought, no, for this kind of a test, we really want something that's just, just well recorded with a good voice. Anyways, go ahead and make your choices in the comments as to which tube you think is which or which you think is the best. And next week, we'll tabulate everything and we'll let you know which tube, in fact, was which.
And please feel free to put in as much detail as you like about it, each one, within reason, of course. and it'll be interesting to see what people think, and we'll let you know which one it is next week.
Okay, now we were just listening to 3 great Sylvanias, but Charles, you've got a lot of excellent pairs, thanks to that large order that just came in.
We've had just about every version of the tube that Sylvania ever made, well, maybe not quite, but close to it, come in the last order, which allowed us to make up some really great pairs. So we have 3 different versions of the later GTB. We've got the coin bases that we were just listening to. We have the standard bass with the light chrome on them. And we even have the slightly earlier GTBs with the chrome domes on them. These would have come right after the GTAs, like these guys right here. And then we also have some straight plate GTAs as well, which are the non-military versions of these beautiful brown basses over here.
Yeah, and these are getting really hard to find. They weren't made for that many years. Probably roughly 1952 to 55, something like that. Maybe as early as 1950. The previous version, the Bad Boys, the GTs, were made all the way up to 1952, and I think there was some overlap. So these may have been made a few years before.
Yeah, and there's some weird oddballs thrown in here or there and there as well, and they're really hard to date sometimes. We actually managed to get some of the very first versions of the 6SN7W, which is the first military version that Sylvania ever produced, but unfortunately no matched pairs out of them. We're going to keep looking for more, though.
Yeah, and they were made in the late 1930s.
Yep.
So, and we actually do rebases of Lochtels of those. And
we're out of those too at the moment.
Yeah, well, people realized that we had these very rare tubes rebased, and were buying, after they bought one pair, they would buy a second and third pair to back it up. And I can't blame them, because those tubes, we'll never see those again. And even though we actually have quite a bit of inventory, we don't have any matched pairs, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. And we have some other great tubes. This video focused on preamp tubes, so we thought we'd lay these out here for you too. But we have a beautiful number of RCA 6AS7 Coke bottles that we have yet to test yet.
Yeah, and we'll be showing them off next week.
Yeah,
but Charles,
here's a quick preview.
Charles can't resist bringing them on screen, and we actually have to listen to them on the new OTL headphone amp to see how they sound as well. I'm expecting big things, but we don't know yet, so we'll have to listen. So if you stayed to the very end, here's some discount codes to help you out. There's a secret code that's quite easy to figure out that people get often that'll save you even more money. We can reach most everyone with flat rate $20 shipping, and if your order is $150 or more after the discount, the shipping's on us, folks. Stay safe, everyone. Dodge those tariffs. This is Jim
And Charles.
signing off. Cheers, everyone.